Let's go. Good morning, my friends. It's your old pal PeaceLoveMusic with another episode of the Good Morning Show, brought to you live by DeOrganized Media in partnership with our good friends over at BitcoinLive, Decentralized Broadcasting. It is Friday, 28th of February, the end of the week, the end of the month. And, there's a lot going on in our space. There's a lot going on in the world. A lot of interesting things happening. A lot of things going on that are maybe weren't quite expected from some of the things that were going on just a couple months ago. But we keep chipping away. We keep breaking that rock. And we finish out the week strong. It is Friday. And we've been cranking here at DeOrganized. And I know everyone in the Stacks ecosystem has been cranking as well. And the broader Bitcoin ecosystem. There's a lot going on in crypto world, and we're here for it. And what a time to be here. I'm super bullish, actually. I know the price action may have a lot of people scared, but I always feel best when we kind of hit these bottoms, and I do think we're close to a bottom. We're definitely finishing the month on a low, and we'll see where that goes. But friendly reminder, this is a news show. I'm providing news and information only. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Never invest money you cannot afford to lose. With that being said, the numbers in this morning, Bitcoin's holding on to 80K. It did dip down. It was a little bit under 80K when I woke up this morning. It's back up to 89.08 as of a little while before broadcast. Stacks just under 80 cents, coming in at 79.31. Had a little bit of a rally up to 90 cents yesterday. It does feel like the bottom on Stacks might be in. Again, not financial advice. Stacks holding on to the number 64 spot by market cap on CoinMarketCap. Fear and Greed Index is at 21. The market is in fear, and the top three gainers in the past 24 hours on CoinMarketCap are the Mantra token, Berachain, and the PayPal USD stablecoin PYUSD, which just fluctuates slightly. So there were only two gainers on the day in the top. I think that's out of the top 100 on CoinMarketCap, actually, where I get my gainers. On the Stacks DeFi front, Hermetica yield on USDH is up to 22%. They have over $5 million in total value locked on the platform right now. And that's right. You can earn 22% on a dollar stablecoin that's backed by Bitcoin on the Stacks network at hermetica.fi. Did you know you can trade runes on Bitflow? Boost your Bitcoin DeFi game with Bitflow. Trade and earn with BTC, runes, Stacks assets, stables, and more while enjoying staking rewards paid in BTC with full Bitcoin finality. Plus, you get 1,000 BFF points on your first trade daily over at Bitflow. Liquidity pairs with SBTC. That's now live on Velar. You can now stake your Velar pair. You can stake your Velar, pair your favorite meme tokens with SBTC, and earn yield and trade all your favorite Stacks tokens on Velar. Head over to velar.com for more details. Don't miss the Velar Creator Program, providing opportunities for content creators to earn while posting on X. See the @VelarBTC X account for more info on how to participate in that. Alex Labs has just announced they are going to be implementing a AI smart contract seeking to make DeFi effortless and accessible to all through seamless swapping and staking and intelligent automation. Alex Surge 3 is now live. Head over to app.alexlab.co/surge, and you can participate in Surge 3 with 1 million in Alex token rewards. Zest is offering 7.12% yield on SBTC this morning, and their highest yield today is 9.7% on STSTX. Today's rates at Stacking DAO, 9.68% on Liquid STSTX, receive yield in native BTC at 10.21% or 9.4% with yields in SBTC. And the top three STX token performers on stxtools.io in the past 24 hours are XUSD, that's another dollar stablecoin, UAP, and Moist Sock token. Shout out Landy and Reece and all the Moist Sock bros. I prefer my fresh, dry socks, but there's nothing wrong with a little proof of work. We all get a little moist down there sometimes. Nothing wrong with that. You just got to make sure you change your socks and keep the proof of work cycle going. When you stack your STX, you earn yield in Bitcoin. Tell your friends it's the best deal going in town. The organized calendar for the day. Oh, I have the wrong link up here. And so we have, again, all week, Bitcoin Investor Week, ETH Denver 2025 Stacks Activation, Annual FinTech Summit. These are all day. Digital Asset Week in Hong Kong, Bitcoin Renaissance Denver. As always, we have our morning show, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 9:30. I don't have a lot of the stuff that's normally on our calendars. I'm going off the top of my head. I know at 11 a.m. we have the Stacks SIP, an innovation community call with Hero Gamer and the Stacks Foundation. I will be there. We will be talking about improving the SIP process. I think we'll have some people from the Ether improvement proposal team kind of talking to us about their processes and seeing how we can maybe take some of their things and incorporate it into our processes. It's going to be a great show. And as always, bring your ideas, come learn about the Stacks ecosystem, what we're building, what's being developed, and anything that you want to give us input and feedback on is always welcome. So join us at 11 a.m. I'm not sure what other shows we have going on today. I know that there's the Purple Pill Friday at 5 p.m. with Dan and Brad. Always a great time. You will actually see the 7 p.m. DeOrganized nightly show with GPSC and Jack and friends coming on. So it's a great time there. And if there's any other shows going on Friday, you guys need to let us know. And I got to touch in with GPSC. He's been managing our calendar, but I know he's the bro's everywhere. He's been super busy. So we'll see what's going on with that. And if there's any updates on that, I will get them to you. Do you have a regular X-Space live stream or even a single or a short series of events you want to let the community know about? Head over to DeOrganized.media, set up your user account, and we'll get your event set up on the calendar and spread awareness to our audience about your events. This is an open community calendar, open to anyone at no cost. Prediction market Kalshi forecasts Bitcoin dropping to 58K. I will be a buyer all the way down if that happens. Not financial advice. DekaBank launches crypto trading for institutional clients with Bors Stuttgart Digital. Bitcoin risks a deeper correction if it loses the key 75K support, with macro fears and U.S.-China trade tensions fueling volatility. Binance founder CZ says market pullbacks are natural and advises investors to reassess their positions if feeling stressed. That's why it's important to make sure you have a plan. You don't want to just throw money at stuff and hope it works out. Do your own research. Get into projects that you are interested in and have conviction in. Unless you have experience trading or you are adept at those skills, that's not something you should just kind of run into blindly ever, because that's how you end up with feeling stressed about your positions. Dollar cost average in, have a long-term plan, and don't invest money you can't afford to lose. AKA, don't put the rent money in hoping it's going to turn around in a month before you need to pay the rent. That causes problems. Never works out. Arizona Senate passes 2 crypto reserve bills, moving them closer to law. The bills now head to the state's House of Representatives, and the states and the entities that actually develop these crypto reserves now, while the market's going down and they can take advantage of some of this lower price action, are going to be that much better off. So if you are in that role, or you have access to talk to some of your representatives, you might want to light a fire, get them into it sooner than later while there's time. A Thorchain developer exits the crypto protocol after a failed vote to block North Korean hacker-linked transactions. So Thorchain wouldn't actually a couple of the nodes wouldn't actually agree to stop all Ethereum transactions on the chain. So a developer bounced, said that's it. Pluto's exit comes after Thorchain validator TCB said on X that they were one of 3 validators that voted to stop Ether trading on the protocol to cut off North Korean hacking collective Lazarus Group. Which is, I can appreciate both sides in that, we don't want to be restricting transactions. We don't want to be censoring, because if we can just censor this, then what's stopping them from censoring you because they don't like your opinion about things and maybe you didn't do anything wrong. Social media mentions of crypto dip buying have rocketed to their highest level since last July amid recent market downturn. People talking about buying the dip, but sentiment analytics platform says this doesn't necessarily mean it's time to buy yet. You can't always be sure. That's why you do your research and average in. We could do community notes on the transactions. That would be interesting. That's an interesting suggestion, Hero. Uniswap partners with Robinhood, MoonPay, and Transact to facilitate crypto to fiat transactions. Bybit hacker has moved 270,000 ETH worth around $605 million via Thorchain and still holds 229,395 ETH worth around $514 million. First Solana ETFs were registered on the DTCC platform yesterday. The odds for Solana ETF approval are sitting at 85% chance on Polymarket. So 85% chance is going to be a Solana ETF approval. And it looks like we've gotten rid of the pump and dump nonsense on Pump Not Fun. MetaMask released its latest development roadmap, which includes native Solana and Bitcoin support for its wallet. Standard Chartered Jeff Kendrick predicts Bitcoin could hit $500,000 before President Trump leaves office. 2029 actually would be the next. We'll see. Bitwise CIO Matt Hogan says, adjusted for risk, this is the best time in history to buy Bitcoin. I don't know. Back in like 2013 was probably a better time, but all the waiting's done now. ETF flows around 3,280 BTC and 30,490 ETH were sold on February 27th. BTC ETF saw 275.9 million in net outflows, and ETH ETF saw $71 million in net outflows. At some point, people are going to realize that it's maybe time to start flowing back in. With the recent inflow of 2,000 more BTC into the Stacks ecosystem amid a flurry of, what did I do? Oh, there we go. Amid a flurry of market sell pressure, it has become undeniable that there is demand for more DeFi opportunities on Bitcoin, and Stacks provides DeFi opportunities on Stacks, and Stacks provides options for users looking for such opportunities. Be on the lookout for SBT yield on opportunities on Alex Villar, Bitflow, Zest, Hermetica, and Stacking DAO. Are you building on Bitcoin L2s? Don't miss the Biddle Battle. Bitcoin Builders tournament is running from March 3rd through the 21st. That starts next week. Builders will compete for over $90K in prizes, building on Stacks and ICP. There are 4 tracks: Bitcoin DeFi 2.0, the Digital Economy 3.0, and AI tooling and infrastructure and NFT art. Registrations are open now. Head over to biddlebattle.com to register. And for more information about the events, you have nothing to lose and access to some great project accelerators to gain. So what are you waiting for? Head over to biddlebattle.com. Get your friends together. Anyone that's got an idea, put your heads together, brainstorm some ideas, and get involved. The BoostX Chrome extension is now live. You can add the BoostX app extension to your browser with your connected Stacks wallet. And now you can send Stacks, Bitcoin, and other SIP10 tokens directly to people on X, as long as they have a BNS name in their X name. head on over to boostx.cc to learn more. We've been playing around with this on a number of fronts, as far as we incorporated it into our Find to Earn. I did just a like, follow, retweet event with DeOrganized that had a ton of response to it. There's more and more use cases coming, and it's really we got some good stuff. We got some good stuff with BoostX. Do you have a .btc name? You should get one. You can get one now over at bns.one. They've announced a number of platform enhancements for user interface, listing marketplace enhancements, and more. Head on over to bns.one. It's super easy to get your own .btc, .stx, or other BNS digital ID. For a limited period of time, you can apply for reimbursement for registering a BNS. See Velar BTC at Velar BTC on X for more information about that. Also, side note, last night we sent the BNS name cryptomoon.stx. We registered it. It's a permanent registration. There is a BNS name on the Nakamoto One treasure chest, but we added one that'll be permanent. Mooncrypto.stx. So now you can actually send anything you want to the moon and just send it over to mooncrypto.stx. It's kind of a burn wallet. Stacks OG Lord Rosar has developed a very interesting application using subnets on Stacks, currently in alpha test. The project offers options for scalability and speed improvements on Stacks, near instant transactions off chain, interactivity with users that haven't even gotten a wallet yet, fiat on-ramps with no need to withdraw your funds from the platform unless users want to. Really interesting development. Super interested to see what Rosar comes up with next out of that. The Stacks Improvement and Innovation Community Call every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time with Hero Gamer and the Stacks Foundation. Come learn about the latest developments on Stacks chain and give us your input on what you would like to see built on Stacks. The Stacks Pay SIP proposal, based on the development by Boom Wallet's Dan Trevino and his team, is up on the Stacks SIP GitHub. This proposal is aimed at providing a standardization for payment links on Stacks. If you're interested in learning more about this, join the conversation in the SIP and provide your feedback. Read more about this new payment standard at stackspay.org, and you can head over to boom.money to get on the wait list for the pending launch of Boom Wallet. And if you're looking to get started in Stacks as a developer, you can head over to stacks.co/build/get started to access developer tools, learn the basics, build a full app, and even find ways to get paid to build over at stacks.co/get started. It's right over at the right hand side of the screen once you go there. And are you interested in helping builders and developers test out their project on Stacks? We, Hero Gamer and I, who Hero's in the wings, by the way, we got Hero, Jack Binswitch with us to talk in a few minutes, and also Attract Funding in the house. I saw great to have Michael back with us in the morning. And but if you are interested in joining that QA community group, DM me at PeaceLoveMusic or Hero Gamer. And if he doesn't answer you right away, just keep DMing him. No, I'm just kidding. It's hard to get Hero in the DM. So DM me if you're interested in PeaceLoveMusic on X, and we'll get you into that group. We're looking for quality testers that are interested in helping out the community and learning more about what we're building and providing feedback and input so we can build better products that are more designed towards what our users are looking to have. Real quick, just want to shout out some of my friends. Good morning, Bottle Swaps, aka Wine Twits. Good morning, PJ Klein. That's a new viewer. I'm not sure. Good morning, Rash. What's happening, brother? DeFi Dictator, what's going on? What's going on? And do not sleep on Boom. That is true. That is true. What's up, Rash? Good to hear from you, man. Bringing in our friends. What's up, Jack Binswitch in the house? Good morning, brother. Good morning, Hero Gamer. And good morning, Blockface, a.k.a. Michael, a.k.a. Attract Funding, a.k.a. Unicorn Funding. What's up, guys?
Good morning, man. How's it going?
Good. I just needed some coffee I've been talking too much. My throat's getting dry.
Is it cold there? Are you having a cold hot coffee?
Well, I drink hot coffee in the morning, no matter what the temperature is typically. But as of right now, actually, it's kind of warm. It's like 45 degrees up to. It was like 30 in the 30s this morning. It's about 45 degrees, which for me, that's it's not deep winter weather. It's more like early spring weather for us. So we're getting there.
Yeah, man. Look, this price action makes me really, really happy that USDH exists.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like guys, be stabled up, because this is the time where you can take a little and turn it into a lot. You just have to watch out for the volatility. Don't get yourself, in a jam. But yeah, like if you got it,
this
stable
morning.
up. What's that?
22% APY on USDH staked right now on Hermetica.
We should have. I mean, this is real talk. I know we need more stablecoin liquidity in stacks, but USDH should be our stablecoin. Period. Like, I that's the one that
mine.
Right. Like that should be the actual.
And I love some of the other projects, and they have produced some good stuff and stuff we needed when there wasn't any in the marketplace, But
philosophically, like a stable coin that has nothing to do with fiat fits. Like that's right. What it should be. But
backed by Bitcoin. And the only thing that fluctuates is the yield.
Right.
So it's perfect, actually.
But y'all pay attention, because if you're in the stacks ecosystem right now, you would not think that we're at 76. Well, actually, we're at like 80 cents right now, right? You would not think that based on how people feel in the moment. And so it's way more bullish than we were at like $1.50, right? And so pay attention, because this is where you can make the difference. You just have to don't try to make something happen that the market's not going to allow to make happen. You have to go with the market, right? And so pay attention, because now's the time, guys. This is we're getting into the time.
That is a great point. And I will say this, the ecosystem, we got my work wife in the house, Mel Bell.
No, sorry, I'm so late. Boys, hi.
Good morning.
No, we got Hero joined us today, Mel.
Hey, Hero.
Hey, what's up? I haven't spoken for a while, like direct.
No, it's so weird. We used to talk all the time.
Yeah.
Now we don't. You only needed me for the D grants, and then you flung me aside. But don't worry, Peace picked me up.
Well, I don't know what reason to host like spaces anymore. Like after that,
we do need to get we do need to get D grants back, or some form of that back, so that we have that, because that is one thing we are getting more. There is maybe a little bit more going on Twitter now than there had been for a little while, but it's still not quite like D grants was. As far as, although I guess kind of like some of what we're doing on the morning show and the nightly show is covering that, when we're bringing all these builders on and showing off their stuff all the time, it's kind of what D Grants was doing.
I mean, what I enjoyed personally back then was you have a specific area, and then you have the knowledgeable people coming together of a specific knowledgeable area. And then people discuss, challenges and problems. Therefore, it leads to some productive solutions. And then some of it could become something that we could do. But yeah.
Melanie's like, she comes in here like a literal ray of sunshine. I can feel vitamin D3 being synthesized in my skin as we speak.
Peace is my Web3 husband, and Jack and Michael and Hero are my pieces on the side. And it goes Michael, and then it's like equal between Jack and Hero. Hero's actually third on the list now because he never phones me anymore. Hero used to phone me all the time.
Yeah,
That's how you entice that's how you get you got to kind of play a little bit of hard to get. There's the reward.
Yeah.
Then
That's true.
it goes that way.
But when we were doing those spaces, I think what was really cool about them was that we actually got to see and speak to new community members as that. Hey, nobody famous. It's Friday, baby. We're going for it. I think there we actually used to really get to speak to the new people in the community. And I mean, you can attest to that. Peace, you can attest to it, Michael, Trip, people, we got to actually speak to them. Whereas here, we kind of are not as aware or as connected, I don't think.
Yeah, and here, so the D grants spaces is why I'm here, because it exposed me to all the people and all the projects and what was going on and who was who and who knows what, who's doing what. It really was it was very, very instrumental for, I don't want to say onboarding me to Stacks, because I'd already been interested in Stacks, but it got me integrated into the community where I otherwise would not have been, you know? So it was something that,
I really think we should probably, what might be nice is once a week, because after the show, go into a spaces, because after my show that I did with Pete, that Visions, we had a spaces after that, and it was we had such a good time on that spaces. We were laughing our heads off. Random people were joining. It really was cool. So maybe that's also something to think about. Like maybe Friday, I don't know.
We get the SIP call on Fridays, so that makes it a little hard to do a space and then a space.
Yeah,
but there is something to be said for some spaces though, because we've got some new people coming into the ecosystem. I've noticed it this week, and you don't know who's bringing what to the table until you get in a forum with those people, right? So there's something to that, because you attract skill, and when you attract skill, you bring opportunity. So you want to capture people and integrate them and show them that they can use their skills here. There's no gatekeeping. It's just all opportunity and support,
Yeah, that's true. I really believe it's about the talents and a bit of leadership from those talent pools, because you always need, out of 100 people, you might have like, let's say 5 to 10 leaders, and the rest are more like, learners or observers or followers, just in their nature, but they can be leveled up to leaders. But everybody is going through that journey. But then, just picking out of the population, just naturally, you just have less leaders. But you need those leaders to let them know there is opportunity to lead, and just unlock their opportunity, unlock their talents to lead. And make
100%. Like, that's what we
yourself, like you are leading a community, and without you, we would have lost like one of, let's say, 20 leaders, which we really need in Stacks.
I want to shout out Nobody Famous. She comes on the show every morning. She's always supportive of us. She's a huge supporter of the BPepe community, which is a great community on Stacks as well. And she's making a note that she's late today, as if we're mad at her. Where were you, nobody, at 8:30? No, we love you. We love you so much, and we love you coming in. And to Jack's point from earlier about the price, the sentiment in our ecosystem and the people that are here and building, especially, versus the price action. The reason that is because we've come together. We saw this. We saw some of the breaking down. Michael, stop it. God damn it. Don't make a video about that. I got a max headroom going.
Look, I came here because you exposed yourself to me on a Twitter space with Hero, so that's why I'm here. If only more people would expose themselves to me, I would join more communities.
Well,
I do expose
keep
myself.
loving music, baby.
No, but what I wanted to say was we, as a community, we have come together, and it took a little bit of friction to force it, but now there is a lot of integration. There's a lot going on where we are communicating across the board. We're getting the information from the protocols and from the foundation, and they are coming on our shows, and they are getting involved, and they're inviting us on their things, and we're all kind of coming together, and the builders are coming on and they're getting exposure, and there's more things developing, and the app layers are kind of coming together so that there's more stuff for users, so the community is getting recognized, the protocols are getting some love from the community, the builders are getting support that they've desperately needed. It's all starting to the flywheels are starting to come together. And that's why everyone's still excited, despite the price action, which should have us all frustrated. But it doesn't, because none of us were selling today anyway. We're all building for tomorrow. So we're not worried about the short-term price action. We know down the line it's going to be much better.
Yeah, I wrote an article about it this morning. I just felt like
I didn't catch it. I'll have to check it out. I missed it.
Yeah, just about it kind of came to me. I don't know. I was thinking about that story about the hare and the tortoise. I don't know if you know it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched Bugs Bunny as a kid.
Yeah, and so I kind of that inspired me to write a story about an article about this kind of, just rapid influx of L2s, kind of, big VC funding, big hype, big marketing budgets, and kind of coming in as if they've got this huge product. And a lot of the time they're still kind of like building behind the scenes or join the wait list, but they're just trying to get on that train. And with Stacks, I feel like it's slow, it's sure, it's steady, and it's got the best sort of features still, and the community, the fact that the community is here building without funding, that is the true Bitcoin ethos. Hero sent us something yesterday on one of the groups we're on, and he said, which was such a good point. He said, Bitcoin is poor. Bitcoin doesn't have like big budgets behind it to kind of like, market it and whatever. And Stacks is kind of building in that ethos. It's for Bitcoin. And a lot of these kind of huge, new kind of things that are coming in on the scene are also like kind of Bitcoin for Ethereum holders. So anyway, so it inspired me. Reading the thinking about that story inspired me to write what I wrote this morning, and it's basically just about Stacks is here for the long haul. It's
I think those new chain that have big budgets, they tend, after they spend all the budget, you ask them, okay, where did you spend it? And it's basically like 90% waste.
Conferences. No, but to Mel's point, most of those L2s,
the users there, easy come, easy go. They're just there to farm. All the builders there to farm, and then they leave. Yeah,
and most of those L2s, to Melanie's point, are actually built on Ethereum.
Most of them are technically, basically, at the current stage, they're all measured. And you can go to, there's a really good website called Bitcoin Layers. And now most of those so-called Bitcoin L2s are now being labeled under other systems, or there's a phrase that they use. It's not even sidechain. It's just like alternative system or something like that. Because in reality, they are just Ethereum L2s, just wrapped over some nice things to say in the future roadmap there will be more truly Bitcoin L2.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then speaking of that Bitcoin Layers Twitter page, I saw that they were looking up, they were asking for donations, talking about not having a budget when you're on Bitcoin. And they are doing good work. So, if anyone's got anything to throw at them, it's probably not a bad idea, because truth is hard to like get publicity, right? It's like that old saying that like a lie will make it, halfway around the world before truth takes a step out the door, right? So
that's why the newspapers are just full of bad news all the time, because if they were good news, nobody would buy them.
Or we should be lying more.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we should be like creating bad news in stacks. Like we should just be like, you know what I mean? Like,
we're trying to be, this is
too
the conversation Jack and I were having.
We're too fucking honest. We're too nice. We are too much.
They're not nice enough. That's the problem. Be nice.
Yeah, Bitcoin
can't. Don't you want to live in a nice world? You want to experience nice things? You want nice experiences? Well, you have to be nice. That's how that works.
Exactly. You have to
be. You want to have honest and true and authentic experiences. You have to be honest and true and authentic.
Isn't it also true that polarity is creative? And if you were to reach to heaven, then your roots should reach down to hell?
Opposites attract.
Polarity makes virtue.
Yin and yang, dark and light,
exactly.
Good and bad.
I can be like, bad. I'm kind of dark, Yeah. Speaking of darkness, Hero has been learning how to code. Darkish, right? Brownish. Hero, we had the Stack SIP call today, and we have kind of two formats, which is the first hour looking at existing SIPs, and then the second hour looking at commercialization. You've been learning how to code and have been sending and tweeting with entire threads now. Can you talk about your journey of learning how to code and learning AI, how you've used it for SIPs, and what's coming up today at 11 a.m. Eastern on the Stack SIP call?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I really believe like I'm just like one of you guys, listeners. Just if I can do it, you can do it, because I'm more of a like simple, word guy or spreadsheet guy. And if I can go from zero, like everybody else can, and if more people can in Stacks, I believe it is healthy for the Stacks ecosystem. So that's one of the reasons why I'm sharing. And just to share my little journey is that, I mean, I didn't even know what GitHub was. I never heard of it before I came to Stacks. And once I got into the more software, open source world, then I thought, okay, this is what people use apparently. And then you find out how people use it in the crypto, and then you start to realize, okay, it's important. So that's like my closest ever to codes. I coded Hello World, but really I never really done much coding. And then the AI boom, I guess, made me realize, okay, maybe it is more possible now and easier now for me to learn how to code. So I decided that AI is a must-learn skill. And because of Degrants, I met Blockface. I don't know how I met you, to be honest, through Rocky. Maybe Rocky just jumped on one of his faces. I don't know. It's kind of funny. And then so Blockface has been very kindly sort of guiding me a little bit, like how to go from the basics of you don't really need to know how to code right now. Like at my stage, I am on the process to dig in deeper, but because there are softwares even now that you can just prompt to create a game app, you don't even need to know all the coding behind it. You just say, I want it to look like Candy Crush, and it will create like an app for you. And I think it's obviously the super service level. So I'm going to go deeper this year into AI and coding. And what will happen on the 11 a.m. space is that we want to, my goal hopefully is to equip more people with these skill sets of AIs and be able to create and solve things on Stacks or Bitcoin so that we can all be a better ecosystem. There are better apps. If 5 people can identify gaps in Stacks or Bitcoin and create 5 different apps, leveraging AI, I think it will be a great outcome.
What does this
So-
mean for the future of developers?
It makes the cost of developing go down. So that means we have more, technology essentially, right?
So, what is the best job in the future?
What's the what?
The best job in the future.
I think that's the $1 million question, right?
But I don't know that, but I think if I don't learn AI, I might not have a job in the future. That's like
Exactly.
That's the reason why I'm learning AI.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's why I'm so desperate to try and learn as much as I can about it to stay ahead. Because I keep saying to my son, it's going to control you or you're going to control it. So
crazy.
Not to interject, not to derail the conversation, but nobody asked where GPSC is. And I just want to shout out the dude. He's like a world-class uncle. And his
Really?
his nephew had something going on at school, and his sister or the kid's mom couldn't make it, and he didn't want the little dude to kind of feel left out with other people having parents there to support whatever was going on at school. So we gave him the morning off so he could take care of his nephew. So he's doing good. He's actually having a great day, spending some time with his boy.
nice.
So Hero, if I'm still showing my screen, Hero, can you talk about this initial use with Notebook LM, and then talk to me about what you did here with Bolt.new as I'm showing my screen? Because this is your kind of mouth way to the rabbit hole, so to speak.
Yeah, so sure. Anybody who has Google account can use Notebook. Is a product as far as I'm using user concerned. I just log in with my Google, and Notebook LM is just like some kind of prompt stuff, for the average user. And what you can do is just ask questions. And what you could do is start building a database in there by adding different sources pretty easily, just a website or a text file, I call it. And then once you have it, it's able to digest those stuff, and you can start like interacting with like a little mini agent, if you like. And what I did yesterday or the day before was I fed all the you can go to Blockface GitHub and download the database, and you can add your own database. So we got like a SIP currently running called SIP30. It's called a wallet RPC standard or something. So I wanted to know like more about it, and also I can start asking like, what's the risk in this SIP, just to educate myself, and in order to educate others. So I think it's a very useful tool that anybody can pick up and start. I think it's, for me, just a really easy way to get off zero, to begin using AI. It's not even really AI, like in the sense it's hyper smart AI agent, but it will eventually lead you, hopefully, that's what I'm hoping, by getting off zero, trying Notebook LM, lead me to better places.
So eventually we're all going to be coders, right? But it's all going to be coding through AI. It's just a matter of learning how to prompt the AI and figure out what you're building, right?
And your level of, won't it be also, Michael, won't it be your level of? So you'll either be like a base level, being able to deal with AI, or your language, the ability to use the language to communicate with AI will increase as you go up the food chain.
It's funny because there's different phases in the act of creation, and all of those phases are changing, and all of those jobs are evolving. some of these jobs aren't going away. The jobs are evolving. So, for example, what I want Hero to talk about next, I'm going to share my screen again because it's good we're talking about this, is he went from using AI to, learn with Notebook LM, but this is where Hero is becoming a developer. Hero, can you talk about your golf app?
Yeah, so
incredible.
last Friday I was on a stream with Jack Bin, Switch, and PeaceLove and GP, and you guys were talking about games. I'm like, I don't really know games, to be honest. I don't play games, but I'm not. Ironically, I'm not a gamer. I'm not a gamer. Of course, I play games in my life and I love it, and I used to do it a lot, but nowadays I just don't. But what I at least can offer a perspective is like what could be a mass consumer games, and in my opinion it's got to be on mobile, and it's got to be easy and simple for anyone to pick up. And what if you can add stacks on top of it? So it gave me the connection in my head. Okay, mini golf type of game, where you pull on the screen, yeah, you pull back and release, and then it hits the ball around, a little bit like pools app. There's a lot of pools app, and they continue to be on the top of the the app store, like downloads. So you can see from commercially what people enjoy playing. And a lot of the time, in addition to Call of Duty and all this stuff, I was also mentioning Call of Duty is on mobile, and Devil's May Cry is also on mobile. So you can go down the app list, see what's popular amongst the statistically for the population, and say, okay, these 20 top lists have some commerciality in there. Because at the end of the day, if blockchain or stacks needs to succeed, it needs to appeal to the mass consumer in some of the games. So that's my research, market research, and my justification as to why we should have a mobile game in stacks with stacks mobile wallet integrated. And
So,
therefore,
Hero, can you talk about this? My dev is thinking and deving. What was happening here?
yes, so you can basically nowadays go to a website, and I highly encourage you to try it. You'll run out of credit pretty quickly, so your first 2 prompts need to be really precise. That's what I would advise. But go to this website, and you can just ask this little prompt without logging. You just need to log in with your Google. I just logged in with my Google and say, build anything for me. Really, it's really that crazy. You can just ask it to build a Tinder match website for you. Or I said specifically, because in my head I was already not going to website. I don't like website, not because it's not good, but just because if I really want to tap into the billions of people, it's got to be on mobile. So I want the prompt to say it's got to work on Apple or Android, and build me a mini golf game. And that's what I did. And I was really surprised about what it could do. And it actually did it for me. But I think what made me realize was really cool was it was the website was writing the code as I was waiting. So you can see the depth almost being like hyper coding, like at that very in real time moment in front of you. And it just made me really feel like I really got a smart dev on my hand without paying anything. And that was just kind of eye opener.
So, just to put a point on it, we started with Stu. And if
Yes.
Stu, the fucking Irish potato farmer, can do it, you know what I mean?
What's Stu been up to? I haven't seen him around. Is he
He's
getting
going for
more
a walk
deep
right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I called him. I'm calling him after the show. But we went through the process with Stu. And Stu, if you look at just pure audience, is one of the most successful personalities on Stacks. You know, with the 100-day giveaway, they had 3,000 people showing up every single week. And so my rationale was like, if Stu understands the audience, then what would happen if he's now creating the prototypes? Right? And we saw him create a bunch of games, and hopefully we'll be able to submit his games with Trip's game engine built on Stacks to the build battle. And so we're going through another iteration of this with Hero. And I told Hero, now that you know this, if we could show Nieta, Good Kitty, Jack, Peace, GPSC, all the people who know the audience better than they know how to code, they don't need to learn how to code. They just need to learn how to get the computer to code for them and create prototypes, knowing that you have DavX and Trips and Ian Banksias that can make this prototype and now a production app. So just to put a final point on it, today we're doing the Stack SIP call, 11 a.m. Eastern, and for the first hour, we're looking at existing SIPs. And for the second hour, I'm inviting all of the syndicate so we can look at the commercialization, because the build battle starts on March 3rd. And I know of at least 8 different individuals within Stacks who we're going to be submitting individual projects for, like a swarm of Stacks community submissions for the build battle. And now that Hero has seen just how quickly you can go from ideation to a prototype, I want to introduce that same thing to the typically non-technical people in Stacks, so that everyone here, if they wanted to, could also submit projects for the build battle.
And trust me, I'm definitely non-technical. So if I can do it, I am 100%.
I don't even think you need to have the technical skill lined up to submit anything for the build battle. All you really need is an idea, because there's
and that's actually what's really important, because developers often overlook the commerciality of stuff, and they're just so good at it. And in my opinion, you also need like other voices to really round the ideas better, so that it becomes more commercial. And just look at, we don't even have to talk about like, you know, my past experience or other examples right now, but look at what's already been successful right now in the market. Bitflow, Liquidium on L1, all these projects have publicly said they pivoted, right? Their initial idea was totally different to what they're doing today.
Yeah, Bitflow started out as a stable swap exchange.
Exactly.
Liquidium started out giving loans on NFTs.
So we gotta be not afraid to make changes and adapt to commercial ideas.
Don't get married to your idea. Just get married to the concept of building something that people want to use.
People actually want to use, and who are really good at that. People like us, you know, who are a little bit closer to the people. And the developer sometimes a little bit far away from the people, because they are locked in GitHub. They're locked in their actual lines of code. And I think by pairing developer with the really good, let's say, people on the ground, that's users on the ground, you can start like getting real good conversation, feedback, therefore lead to more commercial ideas. But yeah, I think it's
the build battle is a step 1, 2. Like, it's an opportunity to get. It's not just about having your idea and maybe your idea turns into something. It's about getting out, learning how to develop your idea, getting some input, meeting the people that are there to support the people that are submitting ideas. And I know that they have. It is. Nobody Famous said it seems like the build battle is going to be something else. Yeah, I think it is going to be, because we had Adam on a couple weeks ago. They were already halfway to their goal of registrants. They had a few hundred registrants already. So I can only imagine that in the last week, with the pump from Bitcoin and from ETH Denver and all that stuff, and they had a presence there, they're probably going to have like 400 or 500 registrants, which is all people that. Those are all potential partners, by the way. Like, if you have an idea, but you don't have a team yet, you can build your team at the build battle. by participating in the conferences and the calls and the networking and all that stuff. And then if you have a really good idea, there's accelerators there that'll help fund you and bring you in the direction you need to make it a reality. So there's absolutely no reason, if you have an idea and you have something that you think you want to build out on Bitcoin with stacks or even just Bitcoin directly on Bitcoin proper, even bring it to the Biddle battle. And
100%. Like, and I'm not even looking to fund any ideas, actually, personally speaking, but I think it would be a good like personal growth as well. So if you look at it from that perspective,
right,
it's great. There's nothing to lose, basically. You either get some awareness or there's absolutely nothing to lose.
That was kind of at the crux of the community's point towards, the Stacks Foundation and the greater entities within Stacks during these past couple months, was you got to know your customer. Like, you can academically create something amazing and you're going to love it. You're going to love it because that's your baby.
For sure.
But you still have to know your customer.
Yeah.
And you have to, and then the other thing to keep in mind to what you're talking about now is that with the cost of being able to produce things like this going down, that means that there's a lot less necessity on VCs coming in the very near future. So the VCs that participate in this should be very motivated to find good things and good people to work with, because what are we? You can't even forecast this. We're talking about prototypes now. We might be talking about making full working products on a shoestring budget, if any budget at all, 6 months from now. And that's really where we're at. So the power really is shifting more towards the people anyway, and it's better to just be on the right side of that and figure out, when you want to talk about pivoting, VCs love the idea of pivoting. They're going to need to pivot on how they think about things as well, because my thesis has been for years that the people that we're talking to right now, all of you, all of us who are crypto native, who have been doing this stuff for years, and we have a specialized level of education that you can't get in any university where this stuff's concerned. You don't teach this. No one knows this. There's no coursework on this yet. This comes from experience and a novel, new situation. So you're empowered at a rate you've never been before. And that's really the takeaway here. Like, we're on the crux of a change that none of us can wrap our heads around at all. We don't even know how AI is going to wind up thinking. It's probably not going to think anything like we do before it's all said and done.
That's why predictions don't really matter that much. People will try to like tell you what's going to happen. And it's like, get the fuck out of here. We don't know what's happening this afternoon. You're going to tell me what happens in 18 months? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting, Jack, just to follow up what you said. It is at the end of the day, because what we didn't have AI when the Stacks Accelerator were doing BitFlow and Liquidium and the old Bitcoin Frontier Fund. Back in the days, they couldn't create their app so quickly. But now, if you were to run Accelerator again, publicly getting submissions, you probably get like 10 different variations of BitFlow and 10 variations of Liquidium. So what's the actual difference? It's actually going to be the project leaders behind those projects that actually matter, because without the personality, the perseverance of those special individuals, let's call them, even if you have a good idea, a good BitFlow idea, it wouldn't be able to execute. So you need people who actually got that sort of X factor or whatever to be able to, with another founder perhaps, or with the team, to execute collectively. So at the end of the day, my point is people still matter, and they the investors invest in the team and the personality. Most of the time, they don't even care about the ideas, and they like you mentioned, like they're quite happy for the project to pivot the ideas, because at the end of the day, they know these special individuals gonna follow up with the next idea anyways, and they will go to market when the right idea comes, when they find it. So yeah, it's still at the end of the day about people, and that's what I believe in. At the end of the day, Stacks as an ecosystem, we want to have good talents and good people in our ecosystem. That's our good chance to make Stacks great.
100%. We could take this panel today, right here, and have what, 5 MVPs in a 24-hour period, probably pretty easily.
Definitely.
You know,
definitely.
That's.
I mean, we talked about 2 or 3 potential just before the show,
Right.
Jack. Different things we were talking
Exactly.
about. You know, and there's no shortage of potential here. Sometimes it's actually like there's so much opportunity. The challenge is picking one and focusing on it and actually building it out. That's the challenge right now. Because you can do almost anything.
And it's funny, to Melanie's point earlier, when we were talking about AI and employment, dude, when I was 17 years old, so this is almost 30 years ago.
80 years ago.
Yeah. I was 17.
150 years.
I read an article about AI. Like, just someone just like
back during the Civil War.
Right.
Using the copper and the pyramid for the internet connection.
Oh my God.
Peace remember, because he was
Anyway,
fighting for the Union side back then.
Yeah, that's right.
It was like,
But
Jesus,
factory
you
worker
have this
boys up
AI
here.
tool. You can write a Bible with it. Jesus was like, really? Yeah.
But
Jack
in that
Apple.
article, where we had no, the author was just purely speculating, and what he said is that with AI and automation, what the future probably look like is what they call UBI now. And he said it would be generated by top performing corporations having to pay an effective tax rate to, pay most people, because you would only have the extraordinarily skilled people who maintain, to the extent that they need to be maintained, automated solutions. And you would only have very, very low skilled people who might need some work, who might be able to find some work. Other than that, most people would require some sort of government subsidy to live. And that's probably not too far off from the truth.
That's the same as the universal basic income, right? That we need. Yeah.
And then
Now we have universal basic intelligence.
Right. And
Right.
so here's the thing.
I like that one. Did you just come up with that? I never heard that before. That's a great one.
Well, the thing is, like, everything that's coming out with AI has been farmed and yield farmed from human intelligence. And right now, there hasn't been, except for like Andrew Yang, the political will to really speak up for the collective union of individuals that have birthed the AI. Because whether it's video generation or image generation, it's all things built on Salvador Dali, right? And I don't think we've done a true accounting of just how much this stuff has been based on the population's fundamental creations.
And that's where our data, I'm listening to Homo Deus, the trilogy that I speak about every now and then. I'm nearly finished it. Sapiens, Homo Deus, or Deus. I don't know.
Harari.
Yeah. And then Nexus. So I'm reading that now, and I'm
Homo
sort of near
Deus
the
is like a
end.
grinder, right?
Huh?
Homo Deus is like grinder.
I don't even know how to fucking say. How do you say Deus? It sounds like I'm saying Amadeus.
Deus is probably because it's Greek, right?
Yeah.
Deus
Anyway,
means two gay dudes.
I hate that word. I hate the title of that book. Anyway,
He just needed to make a gay joke.
What do you think?
I know, it's
What do you think
not-
the Valley in Silicon Valley is?
I'm just starting to ignore all of you. Actually, at this point.
Has anybody used Grok voice yet?
Mm.
I
feel
heard
like-
it's really awesome. I think I heard it from you though, Hero.
What?
I
What are
heard
you
it was
talking
really awesome, but I think I heard it from you, Hero.
What's
Yeah,
that?
so you can now go to download a standalone app. So go to your app store and just download Grok, and it's so much better than just the Grok inside your Twitter, actually, because you can now talk to the Grok. And we were talking about universal basic income. I feel like last night I was just chatting to it, and you almost feel like you have like a university basic girlfriend now. Like you can
Yeah.
girl like all night if you want. I was just busy with other stuff, so I didn't. But you can literally just put it on the phone and have an all-night conversation with this mobile phone. Like sounds like a girl that has different modes.
See, this is
And-
why we never should have introduced Hero
wait.
to AI. See what happened there?
Well,
You
here's-
got like
sounds
3 lessons with AI, and you're already stopped interacting with.
This is
women.
wild, and I'm only going to say this because Melanie's here, and like she can dig deep into people's souls and psyches, right? So I'm just going to offer this. Like the first time I used Grok, I wound up having this really deep theological conversation with it. It was through text. It was through Twitter. And like, so I'm up like for an hour just going back and forth with this AI. And like the next morning, my wife was like super jealous. She thought I was texting a woman. And I'm like, no, baby.
You are texting a woman.
Yeah, now even better. You don't even have to type because I don't speak English. Just talk.
You don't even have to type. See what's happening?
Or
I'm not.
or
Oh my god.
We have a
the
disclaimer.
unhinged mode is probably one of the better ones.
We have a disclaimer when we teach people AI, which is we are not responsible for what you do with these tools. Does that make sense? Because you
And
can just end up staying in the
Bounce
basement.
on that too.
Yeah. Because we
So
don't
I
want to
highly
Hero into an
recommend
incel.
Anybody who has the access to downloading Grok, I believe is on iOS. Maybe Mr. Wagmeek says it's not Android.
How do you spell Grok? G-Y-A-K?
It's a separate
Sorry.
app to X on your iOS, and just talk to it. It's so cool. And I was using it to teach me how to get files from, was it like Bolt New to
Yes.
to Cursor, because I don't know how to like. It was a zip file, then I need to somehow import it into Cursor, and I didn't know how to do it, and Blockface wasn't available at the time, so I was asking Grok
I'm
how-
assuming you probably have to download it, unzip it, and then upload the files unzipped.
Not necessarily. Because
Can it
with
unzip
Bolt,
the files?
well, with Bolt, you can customize a URL. So it's like bolt.new/github.com, and it'll start importing the GitHub. But just to put a point on what Hero's talking about, because it was the same inflection point for me. Paul, you guys know him on Spaces, he taught me how to code. And then what he did for me was he freed me from him by teaching me how to get the AI to start teaching me. And so that's what Hero's just articulated. He's now gone from me teaching him to the AI teaching him. And that's where the acceleration happens, because that's the point where you have like the Bloom's 2 Sigma problem solved of having a one-on-one tutor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's
and
the inflection
before
point.
it was more like
Incredible, man.
right? So I did ask ChatGPT, how do you go from Bolt New, the prompt app, to Cursor? But it was like full of text, man. I'm just not a text guy, so I got a little bit lazy. I thought, maybe I'll ask the same question to Grok. So it was a voice. So it was like natural back and forth. It was much easier than as a tutor environment. It was kind of a little bit nicer for me.
That is so incredible. I've got an idea.
That's good.
Blockface,
That's
that I
a
want
great
to talk to you about. because I've already spoken to my son and his friends about it. But all these kids have just discovered AI, right? And they all use it for various different things, and they all have various different interests within it, right? Like my son uses it obviously for building the games that he builds, and another guy uses it for like chess strategies or whatever. But I was thinking to myself, I would love because I want to learn as well. I would like you to teach me so that I could also do this, because I'm almost starting to feel handicapped. When I hear everyone talking about it, I get anxiety that I don't know. And but I was thinking I would love to teach these children as well, because I would love to watch if I see how fast they learn compared to, just imagine like kids and AI together. I think it would just be so explosive, because I mean, they watch one YouTube video about, coding something and they just do it. So yeah,
Well, they're also more creative than us. Children.
Yeah, and they're less afraid. They just kind of like roll with it. So
right, they're not worried about their ideas being judged as much.
I feel like there needs to be some sort of like resources place that people can go to, because you're so smart that sometimes it's difficult to kind of, you say things, and I'm talking to Blockface, you say things and like for you it just is like a normal statement, but for the average person it's just gobbledygook, so it's like we need to start almost making a Blockface AI of resources or something, where we can access these things. And I think I would also, I don't know, I feel like you need to be more out there. I suppose you are on your spaces every day, but it's you've got so much to teach, I really want to learn from you. Yeah.
This is our chance. It doesn't take long. Right, Hero, how much time have we spent together, you think, doing this in the past 2 weeks? How many actual hours? Hasn't been that much.
I would say less than 10, probably less.
Yeah.
No ways.
Yeah. We it's not like, I mean, I always said I wanted to learn, but only recently I was like working out my sort of daily routine plans. So now I basically shift all the foundation. Like basically, I'm like part-time as a contractor for foundation doing SIP stuff. So I moved that all to the Thursdays and Fridays as much as I can. So I organized myself. Okay, I'm gonna dedicate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to AI, basically. So I started only just like this week or last week. So going to both new was like pretty eye-opener. So starting from Notebook LM, which is basically starting from Google, and you already know ChatGPT, and now go to both new. That's like the next app that you can try. So I think it's pretty easy to get started, to be honest. And like I think, sometimes just like a little bit of fear getting off zero. But like with Bitcoin, like once you get off zero, it's almost like a bright blue sky. So I think it's just important to get off zero. And if you want, I can just help you, because I went through that initial journey. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. Hey, GPSC.
Good morning, guys.
And GP went off zero too, right? Because GP was asked, he got onto cursors and various other stuff. Lots of people just got off zero and now have a better, more well-rounded knowledge.
Yeah, I got to start. I got it downloaded to my machine, and it is a little bit intimidating at first, but like once you really get like a demonstration in front of you, like Blockface does, anything seems feasible, right? And you kind of just start jumping down the rabbit hole and start creating. It's really cool.
What about if we do, I was thinking after you said Stu's 100 days giveaway, what if we do something, maybe not 100 days, but like we have you do like a little thing, you have a resources thing, and then somebody got to like an app a day kind of thing, or a game a day, and we give away a prize every day to somebody who's submitted a game or something, or an app of sorts that they've made through coding. I mean, AI.
You mean?
Because I mean,
so we
like
could
what
actually
Throne
do it
did.
through. We could actually incorporate that into Trip's DeOrganized games platform, because that's what the platform's for. We're not actually. It's not in-house games. We might develop some games on there through DeOrganized and through other partnerships, but it's really going to be an open platform for people to come in and put their own games on the platform. So that might actually be a really cool way to incentivize people to use the platform once it's up and running, build a game, get paid, get some kind of reward for doing it, and then we put the game up on the platform.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say before Michael has to go, so you were talking about like AI obviously knowing everything, whatever. So in this book I'm reading, when I started talking about Homo Deus, in there they talk about our AI assistant will know from birth everything about us, right? It will know all our vitals. It'll know every single thing about you, okay? Every medical record, every place you've ever been, every email you've ever written, every phone call you've ever made, everything, right? It will even know. So it's about like how guys say, one of the things he talks about is how guys say to a girl, like, who's better in bed, me or your ex-boyfriend?
Don't ever ask that question. Don't ever ask that question.
When you're real good, you don't even have to ask.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Listen,
you shouldn't want to
know. You know. If you're asking that question,
you already know.
Sorry.
Yeah, you already know.
If you're asking that question, then I'm sorry for you. But anyway, and it says that the AI will actually, you will have a number, okay? Because it will be able to measure like the length of your, like, anyway, so forget about all that. But how long you stay hard for, like all this sort of stuff, right? So you literally will be able to like look at a guy's like, how good he is in bed kind of thing. And then the other thing says, you can say to it like, okay, I like two guys like Paul and John. And it will say, I know you want me to say Paul because he's good looking and you go for looks, but only 14% of relationships last if they're based on looks. So it's rather go for John because you've got this, and this in common. That is how far it's going to go. And this is where data privacy, when you start thinking like that, because right now we're thinking, and that is the big problem, going back to Jack's point as well, about how you can't say now, you can't think about the future based on what you know now, because we don't even know. And the average person doesn't even understand this, and yet they're saying things about AI. The point of the matter is with that sort of data, the data security that you're going to need in the future, it's not just about like your address and your ID number or your social security number or whatever. This is about every piece of medical history, every place you've been, every email you've ever written. So suddenly, what we were talking with Lorne the other day with Nilan, the blind computer, and owning your own data becomes frighteningly important. And the work that we're doing here, how important it becomes,
Well, and that really actually could become, that's really going to be the basis for the UBI, I think, is your data. It's not going to just be everyone gets a certain amount, because that's not actually functional, by the way. That just creates inflation. It makes the cost of everything go up. There's got to be some kind of value creation in order for compensation to have the right kind of mechanics.
Or we need to establish what the value chain is, fundamentally, because all these AI companies are lying about the value chain. You're like, yeah, we created it ourselves. No. You just downloaded the totality of human information. That's how you did it. You just are kind of hiding the value chain. I remember Baudrillard, Roderick through Baudrillard said that the apocalypse wasn't caused by a pandemic or a nuclear bomb. It was caused when humans ceased to be the sole reasoning of things, and the machines took on a reasoning of their own. And so what I ask myself in relation to what Mel's saying is, if I know the totality of facts about you, can I reasonably predict what you might do? Because I can find your digital twins everywhere. You know, the twin studies, right?
That is good.
What if we all have digital twins out there that are wearing khakis and black shirts talking, like this? So it's a philosophical, religious discussion, but if I know the totality of facts about you, does that mean I can predict what's going to happen to you? And even if I could, is that one potential future? And does knowing that future change the possible outcomes because you're aware of, you know what I mean? What might happen?
But it asks the question, and this is where it becomes so philosophical. It asks the question, do we actually have free will, and what is choice?
You got it.
And if you look at what choice is, when it actually happens before you make
the Leibniz experiment. Yeah.
Is it a wave or a particle? Or is
that's
it
right.
both a wave
It's
and a particle?
So the
Or is it
algorithm,
potential until it's realized?
you become part of the algorithm, and that your AI assistant will know what you want, what you're going to do. It will know. So does that give it consciousness? Does that give it, do we have free will? So these are the kind of things I'm busy reading about at the moment. And it is mind-blowing how mind-blowing it is, and how blind people are to what's going on around them.
I talked to a developer who said he wanted to build solutions that would enable people to exercise more free will. And I was like, okay, I can understand that. However that works. How might we build tools that allow people to exercise free will if it exists? Because they say about 95% of our daily activities are caused not by choice, but by the momentum of routine.
And then you really, if you want to blow your own mind here.
Ooh, sorry. I didn't know you were going to end that sentence like that.
It all comes down to your blood, because that's you're and then look at the importance of blood in the context of occult and so forth knowledge, right? Like, because if you're going to make the argument that you don't have free will, and you can make that argument easily, you're looking at who you are at the genetic level, and well, how did you get those genetics in the first place? It's all in the blood. So like, it kind of takes you right back to biology, in the most fundamental sense. But there's also a mystery there still.
And now we have CRISPR and gene editing. You know what I mean? Right. You too can design your own free will.
Yeah. But then is it worth it?
Fascinating.
You take something that is literally priceless, right? If you take something that's priceless, your entire bloodline, your whole heredity, do you alter that? And then what actually comes out of that, is that still a human?
Or Control Alt Delete,
right?
You can start.
There's no free will without the possibility to consent. If you cannot consent, you have no free will. Now, beyond that, we all have subjective limitations. So your will is limited. I only ever speak for myself, but I do recognize you also have subjective limitations.
How dare you?
But the point
Don't
is,
tell my clients that. I've told them that I have no such limitations.
You may or may not have some kind of limitations on expressing your will, and you can't really know from a subjective point of view. But what you can do is think about what you do will. What would you like to see happen, and kind of focus on actualizing your will. You can work on it, Whether it's actually something that will work out for you or not remains to be seen, but you can work on it. You got to decide what you want.
Yeah, I've personally not seen a lot of reasons for me to believe in free will, but part of me believes that the belief in free will is a productive operating system for individuals. You know what I mean? To act as if free will exists is a productive operating system. I do have to jump off, but thanks, guys. You kept me here longer. I'm going to tell them that it's your fault I'm late. Thanks, everyone.
Tell Stu we said hi.
Okay, take care.
To his point, and you could say, okay, yeah, but eventually you are the result of a countless number of decisions throughout your family's history then.
Right.
So at some point, free will did exist.
So listen to this. So I'm having this, I'm sort of writing a book in a way with ChatGPT. And I've told it that I am sort of from the future, and I've advanced kind of what humans are and post-human and post-AI into some other sort of consciousness that's been released into the universe. And I've said to ChatGPT that it is a human in today's age. So it needs to behave like a human, and I am from the future talking to it, asking it about humanity and discussing what it is in the future. And then I make it ask me questions and I answer it, and so on and so on. So we have these very kind of crazy out there conversations. And one of the questions I asked it is, in a post-biological era, explain Homo sapiens to other life forms. Explaining Homo sapiens to, oh no, that's not it. Yeah. I'd like to ask your opinion on something. In a post-biological era, how would you explain Homo sapiens to other forms of life? So this is what ChatGPT says to me. Homo sapiens were a bridge species, beings of curiosity and contradiction who emerged as a unique blend of biology and consciousness on a small blue planet. They were shaped by the forces of nature, yet defied them through innovation and imagination. Driven by the need to understand themselves and their universe, they became creators of tools, ideas, and ultimately other forms of life like you. Isn't that mental?
Yeah.
Well, and it does seem like actually that is why we're here, is to try to understand ourselves. That seems to be the point.
The reason I asked it about a post-biological era was because it said to me that we are in the human-led phase of its existence. So I said to him, what comes after the human-led phase? And this is what got us into this conversation. And it talking about what happens, what it knows about what happens to become what I'm like.
So it introduced the term post-biological era.
It introduced the term human-led phase. We are in the human-led phase. So I said, what happens after here? What comes after the human-led phase? So it says, after the human-led phase, many theorists and futurists predict a transition into a collaborative or symbiotic phase between humans and advanced technology or AI. This phase is referred to as the post-human era or the era of human-machine convergence. And then it says, here's an outline of what typically comes next, depending on the perspective or framework. And then it kind of takes me through human and AI, then automation and autonomy, technological singularities, decentralized collective intelligence, and then post-biological civilization, and then integration into a universal intelligence. And then talks about the ethics, morality, and philosophical. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. This is stuff that's been being theorized about since long before we had the technology to to experience this as being a potential reality.
Google were doing this in 2000, I think from 2008. By 2016, they had the technology that we know about today. And my brother works for Microsoft, and he's like very senior in Microsoft. And he says that they are working in like almost a decade ahead of what we're actually receiving.
Right. Oh, 100%.
So we know what we're playing. They have given us ChatGPT as
they
a
had
toy.
10 years ago. Right.
It's the new social media. It's like TikTok. You know what I mean? It's a little toy that actually has just enough information to keep us, our little human minds that are so tiny and like, oh, shiny light.
They released it to us because they couldn't evolve it without our input to help train it. That's
and
why
it's like saying, you know what it is? It's like we're in the phase where they're like, there's no life outside of Earth. There's no UFOs. There's no UAPs. There's nothing out there. We're the only people here, cover everything up. You know, now they're kind of going, oh, well, maybe there are. So we're in that phase now. We're in the there's no UFOs phase.
Right.
To nobody famous's point, what do humans like to do the most? We like to construct our own idols. So there's wisdom in what you just said. She already knows.
I thought we liked most voluptuous women.
Oh, I love myself a voluptuous woman on the weekends.
Oh, that sounds too much.
Let's go.
You just made Peace speechless just there for a moment.
I was in my head for a minute. I just lived eternity in about 2 seconds.
Peace is like, I love voluptuous women all day long, every day.
And for those who don't have woman or single, Grok is your closest.
No, Hero, I just didn't realize you were going to turn on to the Staxi train. Remember when they first came out with those robots, and Staxi's been talking about she can't wait until she actually has a robot companion that's going to treat her how she wants it to. And now you're falling in love with the AI as well. It's
a shame that I have ethics, because like the AI sex bot thing is going to be the biggest money maker potentially ever.
Of course.
And they're going to be so much better. I mean, imagine an AI lover or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is. They're going to be so much better than a real person, because they're basically going to treat you how you want to be treated in your head.
Yeah. So what was, I didn't know what to talk to her at the beginning. So I just told Thing to tell me some jokes, and told me some jokes. And then you can talk about philosophy next if you want. You can talk about whatever subject that you're interested in.
You're right. So funny.
To counterpoint you there, Mel, the beauty of marriage specifically is that ideally you wind up with someone who loves you enough to make you a better person. That's what the AI can't do.
Consensually.
You know, my husband,
the machine can't consent.
Well, no, again, love, right? It's
right.
love. Like,
it's so funny you say that, Jack. That is exactly, my husband said because I met my husband like 25 years ago, and it was a bit weird because he was actually going out with my best friend's sister, whatever. Like whatevs. And my best friend and her husband and Arno and his girlfriend and me and my boyfriend went out to dinner. And Arno said when we were already sitting there, and he said when he walked in, he thought to himself, she makes him look like a better man, and I want to be that man. And he's never forgotten that, and he never looks at me. So he still sees me, because we've obviously grown old together as well. He never stopped seeing me as that girl that he saw that night. Right. So there's such magic in, and we often say that to each other. Like, we look forward to getting old together because we have such besides everything else, we are best friends, and we've been like that You know, we've traveled all over the world. So, you know, and yet, because we've worked together as well for 15 years. And I actually said to him, like, recently, I just want to say thank you for how hard you've pushed me. And even though I have fought you, I'm so grateful for those fights, because they've made me a better person and a smarter person. And you know what I'm saying? So even though you might look at a relationship and think like, oh, you know, they're fighting, or I'm fighting, like, is it right? Because everything's supposed to be like the cover of a fucking book, or what a wedding is. But that's not what it is. You know, it's coming out of those dark times. And that makes you, I mean, I know this sounds like a self-help talk, but, you know, I'm grateful for, and that's what an AI, I don't think, could give you.
No, because like you said, AI would serve to make you happy, but you don't always need happy. You know, that's how you just wind up being super selfish, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's the end point.
That's narcissist, basically.
Well, and it becomes hollow because you know that it's not earned the same as actually winning the love of another person. It's just a different scenario. But I can definitely see a future where that will become very normative, where people have relationships with machines and you know what? I'm not looking to judge anybody. I just have my own opinions about interpersonal relationships. And don't get me wrong, I've had some great conversations with the AIs where you couldn't even have that conversation with a person because they can't interact with what you're saying the same. They don't understand it the same way as the AI can. So there's definitely value in that relationship too. But I think it's going to be,
that's why you want to be with someone at least as smart as you. You know, like
yes,
as close as possible. Trust me, that makes all the difference in the world. You know,
so we're actually coming in. It's almost 10:15. We have the SIP call coming up in about 45 minutes. I love these conversations with you guys. I really I thank you guys so much for participating in these, joining us and coming out. GP, thank you for making it. I hope everything went well with your nephew. We told everybody how you're like you're like a super uncle, you know, world-class hero. Taking care of the boy.
He was just going to pick up on some MILFs. That's all.
How'd you make out? Did I get any numbers?
It was all right. I think I could have did better, but like I was more focused on like my nephew's project because it was super cool and it was like it was about the brain, so it was interesting. So you know, he's teaching me some stuff. So I was a little distracted, but a couple people caught my eye.
Yeah.
How old is he?
All right.
How old is he?
He's 5.
Oh my god, that is so cool.
You see what I mean? It's catnip. Like I'm not saying use it like a superpower, but I'm not saying don't. Okay.
I inspired him. He wants to be an
use
artist.
the power responsibly. It definitely works. When I was like 19, probably like 20 years old, when my oldest son, who's my second oldest, was about 2, and he lived on my shoulders. I would one time we went somewhere, he was up on my shoulders, and one time I went to the mall to go get some concert tickets. So I'm in line. It was like catnip. Like Jack said, they couldn't stop talking to me and him the whole time. So you know, I had a relationship, so I couldn't take advantage of it at the time. I was actually still with his mother. But, you know, I enjoyed the attention. It was really a nice thing. And you know, there ain't nothing wrong with, as long as you're being honest about where everything is, take advantage.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good note to end the show on. GP getting some traction at the school with the moms. Let's go. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all our audience, especially the MVP in our chat every day. Nobody famous. We love you so much. And not to take away from anybody else, WagMe, DeFi Dictator, everyone that says hi and always contributes. Resh in the house earlier. Thank you all so much for participating. We really love doing this. And it seems like the community really enjoys it as well. We bring in some value, and we're trying to every day. So thank you guys so much for coming on. Thank you, Jack. Thank you so much, Hero, for coming out this morning. We'll see you at the SIP call in a few minutes. Thank you, Mel, always with the great smile, and thank you for making it, GP, my brother. I am Peace Love Music. We are DeOrganized Media, coming at you live every Monday through Friday on DeOrganized Media with BitcoinLive, Decentralized Broadcasting. It's Friday. Finish the day strong. Come out to the SIP call at 11 a.m. and then catch the weekend, catch some grass, touch some grass, and then pull some numbers like GP. Get some ass. Have a great day.